Now, I don't know about you, but obedience can be tough, can't it? I mean, to follow the Lord, it can be hard. I mean, especially when there's opposition. Especially when things aren't going as smoothly as we think or anticipated. I mean, have you ever been there? Where you're trying to do what God calls you to do. You know where God is leading. You know what God is calling you to do. You know what you should be doing. And yet, because it's difficult. I mean, you're trying to obey God. You're trying, but it just doesn't seem worth it. I mean, after all, everything you're doing is not working. You see, in Western Christianity, I think we have this false presumption. And the false presumption says, as soon as we obey, as soon as we start following God, then all of our problems should go away. That as soon as we begin following God, as soon as we living out His will, well, then it should be smooth sailing. There should be no potholes. There should be no traffic jams. There should be no opposition. Everything should just go smoothly and should go well. All of our problems should go away. I mean, after all, God, I'm doing what you're telling me to do. I'm doing the right thing, God. Now, God, you need to come through for me. And that's kind of our Western Christianity attitude. I mean, I think of it like this. You could have really messed up your life. I mean, you could have been living far from God for the last 10, 15, 20 years. You're in debt over your head. You're sinking quick. You've made some bad decisions that have negatively impacted your life. And so you decide, you know what? I'm going to try to get my life back online. And you go to church one day. It's like, I went to church today, and nothing changed. So it must not be worth it to obey God. I mean, you see what I'm saying? You've done it for 15, 20 years. You expect to go to church one day, and everything changed. And when it doesn't change as dramatically as you want, you throw your hands up and say, it's too difficult. It's not worth it. See, I think a problem that we face, especially in Western Christianity, is conditional obedience to God. It's this, if I do this, God, if I follow you, God, if I live according to your word, well then, God, I want you to do this. If I do this, then you must do this. And I'll obey God as long as I like the results. I mean, I'll follow you, God. I'll follow you anywhere as long as it doesn't get too uncomfortable. As long as there's not too much opposition. God, I'll follow you as long as I like what's happening in my life. Have you ever had that stirring to help others? Okay, you know what I'm talking about? Where you see somebody in need, and all of a sudden God stirs in your heart that you should do something to help them. Okay, first of all, my rule is this. If you see somebody in need and there's a stirring in your heart, you can assume it's from God, not from Satan. Okay, and so if you got that stirring that in your inmost being, you have compassion, well, then I would challenge you to step up and do something.